Hello, welcome back. So today we're gonna, or in this video, I guess, we're gonna be going over part two of the balance update recap. So part two, what you're watching right now, we're gonna be going through all the nerfs coming in this update and overall just what I don't love about this update, the cons of it, I guess. Just want to say real quick, if you haven't checked out the changes for yourself, informed your own opinion yet, and if this is the only video you're gonna watch, it's gonna sound like this is gonna really suck. I'm gonna get a little negative, a little pessimistic in this video. Um, but if you want, that's not the outcome I want you to take from my overall review of this balance update. Um, so I highly encourage you to go check out parts one and one is already out. Three is coming in later today. To get a full picture of what's coming, because it's not all bad. Even though this is what I'm going to talk about in this one video. Um, so yeah, let's go to the changelog. So we're at the bottom of the document with the nerfs. I'll go into more depth of overall thoughts. In a second. I'm just gonna go through all of the actual nerfs themselves real quick. So air raid range reduced from 30 to 25. Not Again, I'll go into more details, but really not a fan of that one. Beachcomber. Cheers removed. All cheer effects have been removed. They were granting unintended damage reduction and weren't shown in the tooltip. The hack pulse, now a single pulse on cast, no smash damage. Pulse duration and DPS bonus scale by star rating. 2 and 3 star, 4-second pulse plus 30 damage. DPS. 4 star, 8 seconds, 40% DPS. 5 star, 12 seconds, 50% DPS. So then G1 golden coating updated to coat yourself in gold, increasing health by X% per ability level, and gain a reflection shield reflecting 30, 40, 50, 65% of all incoming damage. Reapplies every 10 seconds. That 30, 40, 50, 65 is based on 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, 5 star. Reduce health from 53,000 to 37,200 to align with other melee special bots. So, from all the nerfs, Beachcomber is one. If it were up to me, I don't think he needs a nerf. Like, you can balance the defense around knowing that he's in an outpost. But I do get why he needs one. He was pretty overpowered. If you don't think he was, I'm not sure what to tell you. Like, when every single top defensive player is using this bot and he's getting whenever everyone's going to major in general, he's like the number one person. If you're on defensive minded player, he can take up over a minute of the time by himself at general. So yeah, I'm not opposed to it on defense. I don't love that he took away his cheers, and they didn't say it here, but they also increased his ability cost. So that just makes him not as good on offense as well. Like I think the health reduction helps on defense, and that's okay. And then the pulse, doing one pulse instead of constant 2-second pulses, is okay. That helps for defense. But yeah, I wish the cheers stayed. They made him good for offense, not defense. Blue streak, health removal debuff removed. Now reduces attack and move speed only up to 10, 20, 30% for 20 seconds. Ability cost updated from 5 plus 3 to 3 plus 4. Damage was roughly 500 more damage than tooltip mentioned, also fixed. So I like the idea of, instead of 5 plus 3, you make him cheaper with a higher cost later, because his first shot isn't as good, right? I think it's a little expensive though, no? Because I don't use them much, so I don't know how big a deal that'll be, but by the time you get to the fourth shot or third shot, it would be more expensive, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I'll save that till later. BW, so Silverbolt ability cost increased from 3+3 to 4+3. He only has a 4-star. He's not that relevant. I don't think that they needed this. When he gets a 5-star, maybe that would be appropriate, but Big Daddy attack range reduced from 28 to 15. Overall range reduced to prevent out of bounds hiding. That's okay. I had to double check if this is updated, but the first time I tested him with the reduced range, he was in front of the gunners. So as soon as your tank goes down, he just gets shredded. So I think 15 might be the updated, which puts him behind the gunners, which would be nice. But I think I'll still be using him on War Squad. And like the 28 range was kind of ridiculous. I won't lie. Computron hack is now countered by anti-hack. Also, no longer has the stealth passive. So I'm pretty sure that's just he lost his super hack, which I wish I wish he still had it. Like, it's pretty unique and cool. I always loved his 4-star ability. Yeah, I don't know. I think he'll still be good. Like, if you're using him in an outpost, I think he'll still be fine. If you're using him in offense, he'll still be fine. Just, not many bots have something that is, or combiners have something that is super unique and special for them specifically. So he did, and I wish he still had that. Grapple, I have not touched this bot at all. So mine spawn interval from 10 to 30 seconds. I can't speak to how much that will affect them, to be honest. I've never used this bot in an actual battle. Leo Prime. This is probably the one I'm like, yes, I understand. He needs a nerf. If you don't think he's overpowered, this isn't a debate. You're just wrong. Like, so I've seen some people asking why he needs a nerf. Like, he's doing 20,000 damage. Like, that's way more than anybody else. Yeah. So removed ability 1 to 10 speed buffs. Moved to ability 11. DPS down from 1900 to 864. That's his ability, so it's roughly cut in half with a little bit more. Range reduced from 28 to 24. Cost now 7+4. So yeah, he can still one-shot stuff in Primary hard mode. I think the magic number is like basically 11.5 thousand, which is with your Titan tree, and not sure if it's with ranks or not. He still can. If you invested in him and you have a maxed captain, he can. I know that can still one-shot buildings, no problem. Only thing is, if it's around the Micronus core, you're now going to need a combo. So either acid to boost damage and block healing. Glass gas can boost damage, or just any additional damage, so it's not just Leo hitting it. But yeah, I'm still using him on my War Squad. I've tried taking him off, and I might end up taking him off, but like, he's still very usable, and he's hard to replace still. So yeah, that's probably one of the nerfs I'm like 100% on board with. Light speed range reduction adjusted to 95 was 100. I think it's not. He's still basic. That's a very small difference. But the 100% Apparently, it was causing bugs, behavior that wasn't intended. So that's okay, I guess. Optimal Optimus. I really don't like this one. So the range is reduced from 19 to 15. Cost increased from 7 plus 2 to 7 plus 3. And the ability 11 no longer has wide explosives. So yeah, for more expensive, he can cast his ability at a shorter range, and that ability covers less area. I don't know if I'll even be using him in events. Like, I'm really not a fan of this. I'm hoping in version 2 he gets kind of brought up a little bit. He did his fire lasts for 13 seconds, not 10, and his damage is still the same, so he does do more damage. I think it is even more than Leo now, but again, smaller area, smaller cast range. He hits like nothing now. Um, I'm really disappointed in this one. I was hoping with the Leo nerf they'd be on the same level, but they're just not. Ruination. I agree with the notion that he needs a nerf. I don't like what they did with him. So God Sting, his rushing ability, remove tidal wave effects. Now applies 10 seconds disable electric damage over time on charge. Notably, this ability no longer has a shield. That's kind of a big deal. And then tidal, but don't worry, because on the tidal wave, no longer reduces building stats or extends disables. Now grants a plus 40% absorption shield for 5 seconds. And his area radius was decreased from 8 to 5, and range reduced. So they moved the shield to the tidal wave, which I really don't like this. So he has a shield when he's standing still, but now he doesn't when he's rushing around. So either I'm not. I'll have to double check this. I'm pretty sure it might be an 80% shield, and I think it's 7 or 8 seconds, it's not 5. So I'll double check that. But regardless, either combiners don't have a lot of health; they get shredded. That's why they need shields. A combiner with no shield is an irrelevant combiner. So his options are either shield up and then rush, where you're protected for the first part, then get shredded for the last few seconds. Or you can rush and get shredded for the first few seconds and then shield up. So yeah, that's more than any range or damage reduction. I don't like the shield move. God Splitter, damage 50% reduction, no explosions on disabled enemies. After death, move to the 5-star. That sounds really bad. It's still pretty. He still does really good damage in with the 4-star ability. So I'm actually not that concerned about it. And Wrecker's Assault, 5-star ability, increased health and DPS for decoys. So that helps, I guess. Sea Spray now deals the damage that the tooltip says. Previously, this was doing way too much damage. We're currently monitoring this change when it goes live. We don't want to gut any bots we've done nerfs to. I have him maxed out. He's like the one non-war squad bot I have maxed out. And yeah, he will not be even used in events. He will be sidelined until he gets updated because he does like, yeah, I don't know. It's really bad. I don't like this. Scouts no longer disable lock. All scouts now mirror the Chromia Felbat 3-second disable on 5-second cooldown. That's okay. Smokescreen. I know a lot of people won't like this. Ability 11 no longer applies glass gas. Rescaled execute 2-star and 3-star to 20%. Ability 11 30%. 4-star 30%. Ability 11 40%. 5-star 40%. ability 11 50%. This is, I think it's unnecessary. I loved his glass gas. I don't think they had to take it away. I don't think it was over, like, it was strong. I wouldn't say it's a game breaking or anything. In a direction where we're going for more combo possibilities, I thought he was fantastic to apply gas for 3 points. So kind of disappointed to see that go away. However, he is still in my war squad. He is still very strong. He's very good. He can still two-shot build bots. He can still three-shot buildings. Actually, if you applied gas from a white Kremzy, he can two-shot most buildings. Because he can now execute at 50%. So don't worry about him being so bad that he's off your war squad now. He's still very strong. Just a little different, I guess. Will take some adjusting to. Yeah, I think unnecessary, but ultimately he is still very strong. Tasmania Kid ability cost increased from two plus 3. Yeah, so cryo and electric now boost damage by 30%. So the positive is he's basically getting a 30% ability buff, but yeah, at the reduced cost. I don't mind that. Tracks. So they've already announced the 5-star. I'm glad they did, because that's the only way you can kind of wrap your head around this. Cost increased from 2 plus 5 to 2 plus 7. Trax has been not a fan favorite. She's been one of my favorite bots for a long time, and I think I'll still be using him on my war squad. I don't know if I love him as a favorite anymore, though. He's 9 points for the second use. That's kind of crazy. And I'll talk more about that in my third video with war changes. I'll address that more in depth. And Trailbreaker, I cost increased from 3 plus 2 to 4 plus 2. He just caught a stray here. I don't know why. I don't. Again, like BW Silverbolt, when he gets a 5, I know a lot of people in Horde use him as a 4-star, and he's still very good, but until he gets a 5-star, I don't know why we're nerfing them now. Well, I guess they do know why. They're just doing nerfs and just throw them in now, but I guess I would take that as, hopefully that means he's on his radar as coming as a 5-star. Very likely not in the next batch, but soon. He's in the near future, or just future, not near future. We'll jump back to the game. So what we're looking at right now is what I'd call the blueprint of the meta squad right now. Some people run something a little different. Some people might run second healer instead of Trax or instead of Beachcomber. Some people might use Blue Streak instead of Smokescreen, or maybe you're using both, subbing someone else out. So I agree there needed to be some kind of balance update, because here's my war squad. I didn't follow any meta guide. I just took my HQ17 team and subbed in the better versions for HQ18, and this is what I ended up with. And turns out that's, so everyone is kind of funneled into the same idea. So obviously not everybody uses these squads. There are some who don't, but for the most part, if you use this squad, you will have a higher success rate than others who don't. Again, I know there are other squads. I'm not saying if you're not using the squad, you're screwed, but this is the easiest one to use. It's good in every situation. If you don't have any other bots, but you have these 8 max, kind of like I do. I don't. My only other max bots are Sea Spray and Brainstorm's like level 69. Um, but so these are the only bots I use in war, and it works on every single base. So that is objectively overpowered, and I get the idea. Yeah, I guess a balance update is nice, but what I don't like is, so offensively, Leo Prime so overpowered. He needed a nerf. Anybody who's, maybe you don't like how much they nerfed him, but anyone who doesn't think the current live Leo needed a nerf, I don't know what to say. Like, when you have a bot that is objectively the best in every, like, there's no debate, there's no second option that maybe you like him more. No, Leo's just the best. That's how strong he is. It's not a conversation, it's a fact. So when you have a bot like that, he needs to get nerfed. I think the way they phrased it was he's basically at HQ like 20 level, and HQ 19 isn't even out yet. So that's fair. Defensively, Beachcomber, I understand. Like, if you have the right setups, he's not a big deal. And even after he goes away, I'm not gonna change my setups because it's objectively the best setups to have. Um, so personally, I don't like all the whining going on about Beachcomber. If your reason for losing is Beachcomber and not that your squad is faulty, you're like, it's just kind of cope. It's like, if it's under leveled, I understand it's frustrating, but if you have your dream setup and dreams, like the dream bots, dream combats, and everything, and you're still struggling with them, that's literally just a skill issue. I'm not trying to, like, I don't know. So, but similarly to Leo, he is by far the best defensive bot, so I understand it. I think they went a little too far with it. Like, I don't think I'll even be using him in Zone 17 for events. Maybe I will. I don't know. He's on the outside looking in, I'll say that for sure. With all the other warriors getting buffs like Hotspot. So those ones. So Leo, I like. Beachcomber, I understand, even if I don't fully support it. Pipes, I mentioned this in my buffs. I know it sucks that he got nerfed, but low key, it's one of my favorite parts of the update. Just all the extra options for the rushing spot. So Pipes is still very good. In the meantime, while I'm leveling up a new warrior to replace him, I think Ironhide is going to be my replacement. I'll go into more of that in my part 3, where I just go over what changes you should consider making. But in the meantime, Pipes is still a very solid option. He'll do just fine in war while I'm leveling his replacement. Tracks. So basically, he got the 2-point increase to get his 5-star in. So now his ability is better. I don't think they've gone over his stats yet, so I won't show that yet. I'll ask about it, try and show it later, but for now, I'm not going to show stats. Just don't overthink it. If his ability is better, I can say that. That's what warrants the cost increase. It's not that hard to imagine how it's better. So, but yeah, I can't show it. So I don't hate it. It's just 9 points for that second use is kind of absurd. And if you notice, like, so Pipes and all other warriors you can replace them with, they're more expensive. Leo, he's more expensive. Trax, he's more expensive. Air Raid, same cost, but he lost his range. I don't really understand why, because I think I'd even prefer a cost increase to make him more expensive than losing the range, because, like, I don't. So Brainstorm will get more love, which I love. I love Brainstorm as a bot. I think he's really fun. In certain scenarios, he'll even be stronger than air raid. He already is in some scenarios, when he's not bugged. But I'll come back to this in a second. Air raid, and then smokescreen. Same cost, thank God. The day they make him 3+1, he's irrelevant. So I'm glad he's still 3+0. His ability's a little different, but still very similar. Like I said, he can still two-shot build bots, three-shot buildings. He can actually two-shot buildings if you have a white Kremzik or any form of glass gas on a building. So yeah, just everything's more expensive, and again, I'll go into more details in part 3 of what changes you should make, but I don't love how they targeted the Meta War Squad, because again, Leo, I understand. Beachcomber, I understand. The rest of them, sorry, Pipes, I get it. I've come to kind of like that change. The others, it's like, I think it's over the top. I don't think they needed it. Going forward, I'm a little hesitant to spend money on bots, because I will. I'm a sucker. I'm looped in, but like, if I'm gonna spend $50 to max out Ironhide to replace Pipes, who's to say they're not just gonna look at their data and nerf them in the next update? I'm not saying they will. Hopefully they don't. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not paying $50 for a bot to be in my war squad for 3 months or 6 months. I don't. It's a little scary to spend money on bots at the moment, or how expensive ranks are. Like, I've handed out major to some. I've not in this account, but I've given general to Minerva and nobody else yet. Even though that's scary, if she's the best healer, who's to say she won't get nerfed later? Because if they're just looking at the data and she's the most used healer, like, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I hope they don't, but it's a little concerning. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I already leveled Brainstorm. I like him. Let's say I didn't already, and I wanted to spend $50 to replace him with Air Raid. Like, or sorry, replace Air Raid with him. Like, I don't know. What if they just look at the data and say, "Oh, he's better now. We're gonna nerf him because he's a little over the top now." Like, it's a little like, there's no way around it. It's a little scary now. Like, if again, Leo, I don't. If you didn't see a nerf coming at some point, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I understand that, but like the rest, they're not overpowered. They're not over the top. They're just the use most bots. So don't need to keep going in circles, but yeah, it's concerning. Overall, I'll save the changes part for the third video, but basically a little teaser. Everything's more expensive. There's less points, which makes it harder. That's why we needed the easy war effects for a little bit. Oh yeah, and speaking, so right now I'd say Cybertron and below. I'd say they're a little too hard, because if you don't have the Dream War Squad, I know lots of players who have a not max squad but a high level squad, but it's not like a Dream Meta squad like this. It's some like random bots, maybe someone they like to use, and even if they abuse Leo, they struggle in wars, because if you don't have the squad, you're probably struggling, and you might be listening to this. You might 300 in Cybertron. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not talking about you. I just know there's a lot of high level HQ18 players who still struggle in wars because they don't have the Dream Squad. So on the plus side, there are more options now. So maybe if you're using a rickety dickety ass squad of bots you love, maybe some of them got buffed and it's more valid. or at least with these easier war effects, maybe it's nice. It's a little hard to judge, because with these easy war effects, it's exactly that, they're easy. This war squad, or sorry, my war squad here, this will work for the next little while with these easy war effects. I'm not sure how long they'll be around, but once they go back to normal, it's gonna be very tough. I've tested the squad with the current live effect, like pre-update live war effects, and it's doable. It's very tough, much harder. Um, and then so overall, the one positive to this update I keep coming back to are there are more options to use in war and high, I guess, zone 17 and events and stuff at a high level. It's a little hard to judge with these easy war effects, but let's say, so another thing I don't love, I tried to bring this up and try, but let's say air raid and brainstorm, I want to swap between them on a per base basis. I want to have 10 plus bots in my regular rotation, and I want to swap them out, like, yeah, on a per base basis. If air raid looks like better value on a base, I'll use him. If brainstorm has better value, I'll use him. I can't do that because there's a 1.1 million cost to remove cores or combats. So 1.1 each, so it's 2.2. I'm not going to spend 2.2 million energon to swap out brainstorm for air raid sometimes. I'm just going to use one. So I get the idea that they want, like, more bots in the rotation, which I agree with. I just don't know if the execution is there, because, like, right now there are 8 bots. If you have 8 bots in a war squad and it works, you're fine. You don't need anybody else. I think they want to get more options in for combos and more strategy on a per base basis. So maybe get like 10, 11, 12 bots in your regular rotation, which I like. Again, those costs though, I'm not going to spend 2.2 million per bot. Like, let's say I want to swap out 2 bots over a base, I'm not spending 4.4 million. Like, you're out of your mind. um I'm simply going to use 2 bots like I already am. So if I'm just going to use 8 bots again, I don't understand why these nerfs, because this, I can tell you, this isn't what they're trying to do, but it seems like they're okay with using 8 bots, but now you just want to use different 8 bots, so you're gonna need to go spend money to level up those bots, which I'm hoping this gets addressed in, I think they said, a second round of balance updates, which won't be nearly as big as this one. um but it's coming around Christmas, I think they said. So hopefully there's some changes that make it better there, but until then, I don't know. I tried bringing up that core and combat removal thing. It kind of got shuffled to the side. Oh, and sorry, so going back, so it's like, I think Cybertron's a little too, and below is a little too hard for players, and if you can't even use Leo to abuse him, which again I agree with, but like if you're losing that, and the buffs, it's like there's a lot of them, and there's a few good ones that can get them into the war rotation maybe, but for the most part, it doesn't, like, they're like probably over 20 buffs at least off the top of my head. Like 3, 4 of them make them warbots. The rest of them are just okay, cool, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? And then these nerfs will, like, they make war harder. Like, if you're struggling at Cybertron or below with some of these bots, like, I don't know how you're gonna. I'm concerned for those players. When the easy war effects go away. And then on the top side, I say right now, I'd say Prime League's a little too easy. Um, like, I know a lot of players who don't use a combiner, like, if not at all, like, reduced. Um, so that's kind of a big tell that the it's just too easy. And then with the current war effects, I think it just got even easier. So we know this is temporary. That will go back to normal at some point. Not sure when. Um, so I would encourage you to watch my third video coming out soon, where I go over the changes you should consider making in your war squad, so that when the changes come, like you're not totally screwed. Because like I can tell you right now, if you're trying, this is my current war squad. If you try and run the same one when they go back to normal, you will struggle. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm sure some wards with 300, some bases you'll flame out because you can't get by the base. You will struggle if you try and run this, or just run it back, which is concerning because it kind of means that the nerfs, or if you want to make changes, it's not an option, it's a must, which is concerning. So again, these are just the negatives. I know this video gets negative and pessimistic. That's not, maybe if you don't love this update, that's okay, but that's not all I want you to take away from this. I encourage you to watch my part 1, or go over the buffs and the positives of this update. And then part 3, I'll be kind of showing how these nerfs, they're rough, but they're not that big of a deal. There are some easy swaps you can make, or maybe more swaps you can make to make it even easier, if you don't mind some more work. So yeah, if you're still here, thanks for watching. If you learned something, which I hope everybody did, please leave a like. If you keep coming back, a sub would be appreciated, and I'll see you next time.